Before we get started, anyone interested in ordering Mr. Lindell's 4-CD set, go to metaphysicalarttheater.com. For those in the U.S., you can order physical copies or the digital downloads. For those outside the U.S., you can order the digital downloads by going to metaphysicalarttheater.com.
How you doing, sir?
Just fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great.
It's a nice day here today.
We're dealing with overcast, but hey, I'll take it. It's still a great day. So it's overcast, but it looks great. So yeah,
Well, it really rained here yesterday.
we've been getting a lot of rain.
Yeah, we got a lot of rain yesterday. Why? That was good because we needed it.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are still in drought condition, though, correct?
Yes. Well, they say so, so
Okay. Okay.
take their word for it.
Yeah, yeah. They should know a little bit better. Yeah. So, hey, today want to talk about we talk about this often, but I want to make sure I can't even I can't even read my own writing, but makers of themselves.
Yeah, makers of themselves. Yes, that is
That,
it. That's the whole story.
yeah,
I mean, if you really understand just that statement that they themselves are makers of themselves,
yeah.
you understand that, you got the show on the road right.
Now, most people look at their world and they don't believe that they've created it.
You know, it says believe it, receive it.
Yeah,
You don't believe it, you don't receive it. It's
yeah.
really that simple. And if you keep it simple, you can remember it.
Mhm.
You see, that's what we do. We keep forgetting it. We keep forgetting. We get drawn back to it, and then we go, "Oh, where was I at? Yeah, where were you at?" That is a question. Because if you don't know, then you're going to be surprised at what's going to happen. Because it
Absolutely.
isn't falling into the past; it's being projected in your future. So if you don't really want to see what you're thinking about, then you better shut it off,
Yeah,
drop it.
yeah,
And we're told to do that. And you're told that here's the benefit. If you drop it and you turn to God, he'll turn to you. And he's already said he would. So he's already said, yes, where are you?
yeah. And it's I guess it's us believing, going back to what you said about belief, it's us getting to a point where we believe what's being said.
Well, do they actually know what it means to believe?
Yeah,
See, because that seems to kind of get kind of muddled there at a time. But it's as you believe it is to you. So what would you want to work on, but other than what you believe?
yeah,
And you can believe different because you've been doing so since you were a little,
yeah,
since you started crawling. And as you progressed with it, it got better and better. Well, it's the same thing with this. If you actually dive right in and think from what it is that you desire to experience, that's what you'll be doing. I mean, what has your attention has your life. So give it your attention. As long as you're giving your attention to what you want, everything will work out fine. But when your attention gets diverted off into, I don't know, scenarios of gloom and doom, just
yeah,
don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Because you see, what you're not really creating, you're just drawing from what is already created, and you're asking, believing, receiving. But what are you asking? How are you asking? Because if you're asking amiss, that means you're asking for what you don't want. And so you're praying, and then when you get it, you say, well, my prayer wasn't answered. Well, yeah, you actually got what you expected,
yeah.
not necessarily what you wanted. So you got to make that distinction clear in yourself before you go pray.
Wow. You said something. You said, listen, we're not actually creating, we're drawing from that which already is created. And that's the wonderful thing. Everything that we desire already exists.
That's right. If you thought about it, it exists. But take note though, anything anything can be in your life of experiencing if you give your mind to it. And that's what you're doing. You're praying all the time. I mean, if you're awake all the time,
Yeah.
then you're actually praying. Rather you're aware you're doing so or not. And what you can do is look at what you're experiencing, and then that gives you a tip off of what you were thinking,
Yeah.
because you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. So if you don't like this, then just go back and change the evidence in the beginning, in the idea, in the thought, because thoughts are things. Look around, thousands and thousands of items, and they're all thought first, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There they are. What are you thinking?
Yeah. You say that, and I reflected back in my own life of times where I focused on poverty, for example. Now, when I was focusing on poverty, I had no clue that that's what I was creating. And so many people keep repeating scenarios of, you call it doom and gloom, lack, loss, and limitation. And they keep wondering why they keep manifesting the exact same scenarios in their life. But you said, don't focus on what you don't want. Give your attention to lovely and what's of a good report.
And you know what it says? It says, think only on things that are lovely and of good report. Only. So if you're thinking only on lovely and of good report, and as you think you are, hey, you're there. That's all you have to do. Look, you're either choosing or you're going to be chosen for.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And you don't have to believe me. Just look at what you're experiencing and what you've been thinking ahead of time. There you are.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up or you're setting yourself free, because you're on all the time, right?
Absolutely. You said you're either choosing or being chosen for, and I believe that probably about 95% of the population is being chosen for. And a lot of that comes by way of advertisement, marketers, everybody's selling their product or their story.
Hey, every Neville would say it quite often. The whole vast world is screaming at you to do what? Get your attention. And they spend millions and millions of dollars to get your attention.
Yeah.
What, if your attention is that important to them, how come it isn't that important to you?
Yeah.
Pay attention to what you're doing. That's the only way you know where you're going. And that's what you want to do, isn't it? You want to map out you're going. Well, do it right now. Now is the appointed hour. Choose now. Well, you are, whether you are or not. Oh boy. You can really get tangled up in what's going on in the world, because that's why you're told not to be of the world. You be in the world, but not of the world. Now, we see, because when you go by man, mind, reasoning, you wind up impressing yourself. And as you're impressed, you express. And, you might want to hear about what's going on, but don't bond with it. You understand? Don't think about it too much, because then you wind up finding yourself bonded with it. So, it's like I said, you either believe it or you don't. What do you believe? Do you even know what you believe? You see, I thought I did. I was way off. And what I really did believe, I was, whoa, where did that come from? But see, that's what you're to do. You're to train yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you get along better if you know what you're thinking, because like I said, it's ahead of your evidence, and your evidence is going to show you what you were thinking. So if you can really attach what you're doing to what you were thinking, then you just found the secret of how to cause desired change, didn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope that they go back and listen to that one more time, because you've really did give them the secret. If you really understand what it is that you're thinking, and it goes back to what you often say, can you think your next thought? And if the person can control what it is that they're giving their attention to consistently, persistently, that's the secret. All this other stuff, when it comes down to it, as a man, woman thinks in his or her heart, so
Yeah,
is
that's
he.
all you
So,
have to do.
yeah,
You're right. That's all you have to do. What am I thinking about?
yeah,
Well, do I want to experience it? No. Well, drop it.
yeah.
Turn around. You look like you said, choose your next thought. If you can choose your next thought, then you're free.
Hmm.
It's only when you stop choosing you get chosen for, and then you don't like it, and then you complain about not liking it, and all things produce after their own kind, so you get more to complain about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm laughing about it, but it isn't a laughing matter because what you're doing is you're experiencing life on a negative level more than you are on a positive level. I mean, you're told to think only on things that are lovely and of good report. Only. You get it? Think only. Because what you're thinking about is what you're experiencing. There it is. As you think, you are, you do, you have, you be. That's it, isn't it?
It is it. Going back to the only, I know naturally scripture puts it cut and dry, but as human beings, we get off track. We call that sin. So as much as possible, think only. The biggest thing is awareness and catching oneself, attitude awareness and imaginational control. As we catch ourselves thinking contrary to what it is that we desire, then we get better at thinking only. It's a muscle that must be exercised. And that's why we give these talks week after week, and we repeat the message because we know that if you hear it over and over again, one day it's going to click.
Yep. Choose.
Yeah.
That's the word, choose. You were given to choose. And if you're choosing rightly, then you enjoy life.
Yeah.
If you're choosing wrongly, well, you know that pretty quick. And so it wouldn't take too much to turn it around. Look, God said, if you turn to me, I'll turn to you. Come on. If God turns to you, what would be your problem?
Yeah.
I mean, what could possibly be your problem if God turns to you? Come on, really. I mean, does that frighten you in some way? That God knows what you're doing? Hell, he knows what you're doing before you know what you're doing. Come on. He's there. I am with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresence means right here, right now. Now is the appointed hour of desired change. What would you desire to change? Do you know? See that if you won't think about it so that you know it immediately, what it is you desire, what is your passion, and all you have to do is have a passion for whatever you want, and you'll get it. But you have to stay true to your passion, though, right?
Absolutely. I want to touch on that real quick. You said, listen, the only thing you have to do is have a passion for what it is that you desire and you'll get it. Now, understand this. If your passion is worry, if it's fear, if it's upset, those are also passions. And if you're giving that type of energy to the thing that you don't want, what you're doing is giving a command for more of that.
You're actually feeding the very thing you don't want.
Yeah.
You understand? Your attention is feed to the things you don't want. Understand that. And then think only on things that are lovely. And well, why tell you to think only on things that are lovely and of good report? I mean, he obviously knows you can't do it,
Yeah.
but that's the reason why you get saved by grace, not by your works. It's by grace. And you get the grace if you ask for it. And that's what you're told to do. It's show up and claim what is yours. And what is yours? All of it. It's all yours. And you have it packed somewhere in there. Even though this is a vegetable brain, man, it is fabulous. Yeah. I mean, it'll do things. Well, of course, you haven't imagined it yet, because if you had it, you'd already be doing it. and just because we laugh about this a lot, it's really this, that we know how stupid we were and how simple it was that we didn't get it. It was right here in front of you, but you can't see it until you focus to see it. See what? what are you thinking about? Is it something you want more of? Fantastic. But if it isn't, take care of it right away, because it'll run away with you, won't it?
It will. It will. You said something and you used the word grace. And this is such a wonderful word. It's receiving what it is that we don't, that we don't deserve, And so grace is so wonderful in that when you find yourself stuck, you can cry out to Father within and say, help me in my unbelief. And what will happen is you'll start becoming aware more of your thinking and the effects of your thinking, and then you'll begin to get in the process of change. But first cry out, for grace and say, help in my unbelief, in those areas that I don't believe this stuff. Because as Mr. Lindell states, you're going to believe something. And it doesn't matter whether you believe this stuff or not. It doesn't stop the functionality of it from working in your life.
That's right. And you're given choose this day. Well, that simplifies everything if you're aware and choosing wisely. Yeah. If you're unaware and choosing unwisely, well, you will experience that also.
Absolutely.
See, so that's the reason why it's said that you're makers of yourself.
Absolutely.
Because what you're allowing yourself to run off little scenarios about in your mind is what you're going to be experiencing out here. So you want to be careful what you're allowing yourself to entertain as thought, because if you believe it, you receive it. And if what you're receiving is not what you want, well, then you have to learn to believe different. And you can believe different. I mean, there was a time when you were crawling on the floor and you believed you could stand up, and you did. And you believed you could walk, and you did. You got a lot of lumps and bumps on it, but sooner or later you kind of think, well, wait a minute, if I do this, I'm going to hit that. No, I won't do that. And we learn by the doing. And so like the fellow you were talking about earlier, it's like I told him, well, just get out and give what you know.
Yeah.
You're not expected to know it all, Right. I mean, when I have question and answer periods, sometimes they ask me a question, and I go, I don't know, and I don't know, and I don't know. But that's only because I haven't touched on it yet. But it will be there sooner. I mean, you experience everything. You don't have to. You're not going to miss anything. I have people telling me, "Well, I didn't get to do this," and you'll get to do it.
Yeah.
You'll do it all. As a matter of fact, you'll be willing to go. And he says, "Fear not." So, if God's telling me to fear not, well, okay, I'll take his word for it. I'll fear not. It doesn't cost you anything to believe differently, does it?
It doesn't.
I mean, you're told change your mind, you can change your mind, can't you? I mean, you change your mind every time, all day long. You change your mind. I was going to do this, but I decided to do this first, and then I forgot that one, so now I got to go do it. But it becomes something more like a game. But you lose too much when you play games. So don't make it a game. Actually think about what you're thinking about and approving of it. And if you'll do that consistently, persistently, you'll have a better life, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You talked about, the game, and it's certainly, with this game, you really have to be mindful of the rules of the game. And that's what we're giving you. We're giving you the rules of the game. So, and again, this is not something that came from us. This is something that's been passed down for thousands of years. Only thing we're doing is giving to you what's been given to us. So be mindful of what it is that you're giving your attention to, because it will be outpictured or manifested in your reality.
That's right. That's right. If you don't want to see it, don't give it any space. Don't build a scene for it to happen. See, we do, what if this happens and what if that happens, and then you go off on a little journey, and you usually got it wrong anyway, but you still won't enjoy it. So you have to decide. I mean, it's something. I do that before I get out of bed in the morning. That's it, and that sets my mood for the day too. and it'll set your mood for the day also, because it's as you think you are. And if you get up in a grumpy mood, man, the whole day goes like that, unless you purposely catch yourself and change it. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to catch yourself, setting yourself up. Because if you do catch yourself, then you will stop it. You will move to another state of consciousness. You can do this. You're told that you change your mind and change your world. Is that not telling you what to do? What would you change but your mind? And you can do that. You're told you can do that. Change your mind, change your world. And the first does the second. So you're not really asked to do anything but choose, but choose wisely. You choose unwisely, and you've already experienced that. So just leave that off the card. Look, simply it is as you think you are. Now, if you start off on the trip of saying, well, I'm thinking this because of what they did, or I'm thinking this because of what they did. No. You choose or you lose, right?
Absolutely. You know, we were talking about makers of themselves, and scripture says it this way, that we're a law unto ourselves, so whatever it is that we give our attention to, that becomes a law to us, because as you believe, as you think, so are you. So it goes back to what Mr. Lindell will often say, they themselves are makers of themselves or a law unto themselves.
Yeah, that's it. And the only thing you have to be concerned with is the one word: choose.
Yeah.
You see, you're about choosing, because you're praying ceaselessly, and all prayer is answered, we're told. So you want to consider that all prayer is answered. And someone says, well, I've been praying, and I haven't no answer at all. No, actually, you were answered. You got what you expected. And that's what everyone gets. They get what they expect, not necessarily what they want. You see, because wanting it, you have to expect it. That's how you know. That's how you know you're on track there to get it, because you expect it. If you don't expect it, just stay home. Really, it'd be much more pleasurable, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And that's a hard saying for us, that we don't necessarily get what we want, but we get what we expect. Now, Jesus calls that fruits. We talk about seeds and a harvest. Whatever you call it, it ends up being lifestyle. Lifestyle is going to show you what it is that you've given your mindset to. So only thing you have to do is currently look. You said earlier, now is the appointed hour of change. The wonderful thing about change, you can change any moment. Now is that time of change. But if you're wondering what it is that you've been bringing about in your world, just look at your life. And that's going to reveal everything else. But like Mr. Lindell said earlier, you can change it right now.
That's it. You have the proof in the pudding.
Yeah.
Like I said, you only have one word to work with. Choose. Is that what you're told? Choose this day. And whether you're aware of it or not, it's always this day. It's not a tomorrow. It's not a yesterday. It's right now. And you are choosing. And that's what this is all about. You're choosing. Are you aware you're choosing? That's see, if you're aware you're choosing, then you'll choose wisely. If you're unaware or lost in thought, you could be dreaming up monsters that you can't handle. Don't do that. You're told let go and let God. If you got a big problem and you figure you can't handle it, well, what did Jesus say? I of myself can do nothing. The Father does all the work. He doeth the work. See, he's not asking you to do any work, but just choose it. Yeah. But it does take thought to choose, because otherwise, if you're choosing lost in thought, you don't know where you're going. Everything will be a surprise to you. And that's what people really hate is surprises. So if you don't want to be surprised, then know what you're thinking ahead of your evidence. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
It is. It is. And it says, judge not according to appearance. So when you're choosing, the world without is going to seem contrary at times. You can't judge by that. You have to stick with the choosing of what it is that you're giving your attention to, and you stick with it until you bring about what it is you're trying to manifest. But don't sit there and say, well, I'm not seeing the evidence right now. And so then you get off track, or you say this stuff doesn't work, because of course, then what you've done is basically acted as a spontaneous abortion, and you've aborted the thing that you were attempting to manifest.
Yep. That's it. That's exactly it. You do exactly that. And I've done it so many times. I know how easy it is to slip off into being involved in things. You ask me, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask that question, that's a tip-off that you want to be watching what you're saying, because it's your future.
Yeah.
I mean, it is your future. If you want to design your future, just design your talking ahead of your future. And then it'll turn out as you design it to be. That's all we're here to do. We're here to choose our next thought. There you are. What is your next thought? Is it lovely and a good report? Wonderful. Expand on it. If it isn't, drop it. That it's as simple as that. And I know I say it's simple. I know it's simple. And yeah, I also know how difficult it is at first, because if you're everything today is hurry.
Yeah.
But if you get caught up in that, you see, you don't really have a life. You understand? You don't have a relaxing life. And what you have to do, you have to learn to relax, because if you're all wound up in your head, it says be still. Now, stillness is not just being quiet. Stillness means stillness.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get answered. See, not just being quiet, but being still. You're going to be answered. Don't be surprised if it's your own voice.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised. I was saying, who's this? And I said, it's me. Well, who's me? Well, you don't know who you are. So, and then I really got off track there. But you see, the thing of it is, if you're serious about it, if you have a passion for knowing first person, and that's all we're looking for. I mean, that's all we want to talk to is people who want to know first person, because I'm not interested in having long conversations with people about whatever their problems. People come in a private interview and they want to tell you their problems over and over and over. I'm telling, whoa, once is enough. And they say, well, you don't seem to be interested in my problem. Well, I'm not. You're right. See, right away, you're right. I'm not interested in but solutions. I thought that's what you came here for. I mean, if you didn't come here for a solution, go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
They tell me I'm not trying to be a bear about this, but you see, after 40 years of doing this, you get a little excited about people who don't want to listen.
Yeah.
You understand? Why come here if you don't want to listen to what's going to be said? Because it's not about us. We're just here as witnesses. That's all. We're not examples of anything. My wife would say, well, you are right about that. Yeah, well, yeah, it is tough to keep quiet sometimes. But you know better. Attitude. It's all about our attitudes. And you can change your attitudes. I mean, you really can change an attitude. It's difficult at first because it just keeps popping up, and you have to deny it each time. But you see, if you're going to deny something, deny what you don't want. See, don't deny what you want. Deny what you don't want. Because that's the way you learn to expect what you do want. If you got the stuff in you to get rid of it, then you got the stuff in you to receive it. See, and that's what it is. Believe it, receive it. It's that simple. And if you keep it that simple, you'll remember it. And the more you remember it, the further along you are in thinking ahead of your evidence, because that's what you're doing all the time, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're doing. You're thinking ahead of but do you know what you're thinking about? That's all we're asking you to do. Just check up on yourself. Are you setting yourself free? You're setting yourself up. You bond with things that you don't want, and then you wonder why you suffer them. And bonding with them is just constantly thinking about them. That's bonding with it, isn't it?
It is. It is. You said something earlier. You said, listen, start just relaxing. And it's true. So many people are dealing with so much turmoil, and they're fighting within themselves, and, they're fighting about their money situation, their relationship situations, their health situations. And these things are forefront in their mind. And most of us really don't understand we're vibrational systems. So when we're vibrating that type of energy, what it's doing is acting as a signal to say, give me more of that. So this is why we say relax and begin thinking about what it is that you desire. As Mr. Lindell says, don't deny what you want. Deny the things that you don't want by giving attention to the things that you do want.
That's it. What has your attention has your life. What, I mean, can you deny that any moment of time? Can you deny that? I mean, if your attention's over here, that's where you're at. If your attention is over here, that's where you're at. But if your attention's right here, that's where you're at. And that's what you want. You want to think only on things that are lovely and of good report. And as you think, you are. It's as simple as that. Keep it simple. You'll remember it. If you remember it, you might even do it. But the thing of it is, once you do it and you see the results of your doing it, then you won't need us. You'll be encouraged by yourself, because you want change. And that's what this is about. You can cause desired change. As a matter of fact, you can cause desired change in any direction. But that's the idea. You were given choose this day, not just accepting and bonding with ideas that you wouldn't even have thought about yourself. And that's what there's a lot of information coming to you, but you don't have to take it all. You don't have to take any of it, really. If you're the one choosing what you're going to think, well, they call you to this. Hey, when I want something, I'll go look for it, or I'll call and I'll get it that way. You don't need to call me and remind me of what you want me to get.